Hello, my name is Damien Bell and I'm going to be showing you how to play the chanter, which will then help you to learn the bagpipes. In order to do that, I'm going to use the College of Piping's Green Book. To do that, you will need one of these, Practice Chanter, and obviously the Green Book, all of which can be obtained from the College of Piping's website. Lesson 1 that we're going to do today is principally about how to position your fingers on the chanter. The first objective in lesson 1 is to be able to sound the low G. This sounds so. In order to sound that, you have to position your fingers on the chanter correctly. Your fingers should be straight and should not be tight but yet firm on the chanter, covering all the holes. The position of the fingers, if you're right-handed, is your left hand on the top and your right hand on the bottom. Your left hand covers the first 3 holes and the little pinky doesn't do anything, with your thumb over the back hole. The right hand is the bottom hand and it covers the bottom 4 holes. Okay, with your thumb at the back placed underneath this finger here. So if you place your thumb further down, it will feel a little bit awkward, but it will bring your pinky over the hole easier. If you try and push your thumb too far up, then this will automatically bring the pinky off the bottom hole and make it harder for you to play and get that low G sound. So persevere, it will take a little bit of time, but you'll get it right. When learning the chanter, it's very important to learn the notes of the chanter. In the book, they have written out the stave for you, and you can see that there. Okay, so you should be able to write this all out by hand and place the notes on the correct part of the stave. So I'll let you do that in your own time. So once you've got the position on here correct, you'll be able to sound the low G. The next note is called low A. So low G was all the fingers in the chanter. Low A is the first finger raised off the chanter. And that sounds so. So now you know 2 notes, low G and low A. That is. Or the third note in the chanter is the B, okay? And simply that is with the 2 last fingers, your pinky and the next finger, raised off the chanter. And it sounds so. The fourth note is called C. It's slightly different in that you raise the 3rd finger and at the same time you place the pinky. So you get this movement. C being. Okay, so now you know 4 notes, okay? So you can do this little scale. Which is written out at the bottom of page 13 in your book. The 5th note is D. And that is played by having the 3 top fingers of your hand off the chanter and the pinky placed on the bottom note. So now you have the scale up to D and back. At the bottom of page 14, they've given you a little exercise to do, which goes as follows. Practice this exercise until you have no crossing noises and that all of the notes are clear and the movements are clear between each movement. The 6th note then takes us up to the top hand, which is the note E. And that is played by all your 3 fingers placed on the bottom hand and a little pinky raised on the bottom hand, and then simply the first finger, the E note finger, raised. And that sounds so. There's a bit more work involved in changing hands in the chanter, and as such that requires quite a bit of practice. And it's a constant practice, even for very advanced players, to make sure that they do not have a crossing noise when they change from the lower hand to the upper hand. With this in mind, on page 15, the college have given you an exercise to do, which is to change from the D to the E. D to E, D to E, okay? So I'll just play that for you. So what we're looking for is a clean D and a clean E without any little crossing noises in between. If you listen carefully to when you're playing, you might hear this. Or slighter versions of that. That's what we're trying to avoid. Okay, so we're looking for a nice clean changeover between the D and the E, and then from the E back to the D. The college then gives us a little exercise just to make sure that we've mastered that on the top of page 16, and this goes very simple exercise. The next note is the note 7th note, the note F. And that is played by raising the 2 fingers on your top hand. Okay, so now you should be able to do the scale up to F and back. All the time being aware of any crossing noises between each of the notes that you're playing, and obviously the change of hand as well. And just to make sure that you've mastered that as well, college gives us another little exercise at the top of page 17. This goes practice that as often as you can until you are satisfied that there are no crossing noises and that you're playing it correctly. The 8th note is the note high G, okay, and that is played again with your lower hand with the first 3 notes all covered, so the D, the C and the B note covered, but with your finger raised over the low G note, okay? And your top hand, it's with all the fingers off the chanter and obviously the hole at the back of the chanter covered. And that should sound this. Okay? So now we can do the scale to high G, and that is. Again, they give us another little exercise to do, at the bottom of page 17, just to make sure you've mastered this. And that goes. Okay, there are some tricky movements in there. For instance, the low G to the high G. Just make sure that you're raising your little pinky at the same time as you raise the top three fingers. And make sure you do that cleanly so we don't get any crossing noises, okay? The last note, the ninth note, is the high A, okay? And that might not surprise you, but it's the same position with the lower hand, okay? So your bottom three, the top three fingers rather, these three fingers are placed on the top three notes, the D, C and B, with your pinky raised. Top hand is with all your fingers off the chanter except this one, okay, which holds that note there, okay, and you play it so. That note is called high A. So having completed that, you should now be able to play the whole scale from low G to high A and back. When we're playing the chanter, we are simulating the movements on the bagpipe. So the breathing is constant. You don't stop like in perhaps playing a trumpet or a brass instrument to cause pauses in the music. The pauses will go into later or are used by causing grace notes, okay? So the blowing is very important, and the blowing of the practice chanter is training your muscles so they can blow into the mouthpiece of the bagpipe. So it's all designed to help train your muscles, train your fingers, and obviously help to train you in positioning your fingers correctly so that when you come to play the bagpipes, you do it properly. So the blowing is by keeping your cheeks in, okay? So, and not buff your cheeks out. So with that, I would practice all of these exercises from the very beginning of lesson 1 to page 18 before moving on to lesson 2. Thank you very much and good luck.